Good morning, everyone. Dr. Victoria Scribo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center, Wareham, Massachusetts. Today is Thursday, February 17th, and the moon is in Virgo. Yesterday, we had that very powerful and potent full moon in Leo. And I don't know about you, but it was a pretty intense day for me. The interesting thing about yesterday was that the intensity didn't actually come from anything that was happening outside of myself. The intensity was really something that was bubbling up inside of me. And we also had Venus and Mars make a conjunction yesterday, kind of bringing the inner feminine and the inner masculine, or the outer feminine and the outer masculine, or the inner and outer whatever, whether it was the masculine and feminine within you, or actually relationships. You may have found that a new understanding has begun, or a new phase in your relationship has begun. And that could be a relationship with somebody else, or it could be just the relationship that you have with yourself. And we're going to have another of the conjunctions between Venus and Mars coming up in March. But that's after they walk through the gauntlet of Pluto. So it's going to be very interesting. Especially for Venus, because she had that retrograde period of time. It's been very intense for Venus in Capricorn. She meets up with Pluto, Mars meets up with Pluto, and then they get together again at that first degree of Aquarius. So relationship is shifting and changing in ways that I'm not even sure we can imagine. So let's talk about today, because there's a big thing happening today as well. It's a sextile between Jupiter and Uranus. Now, sextiles are opportunistic. They stimulate our mental capacity. They bring out curiosity, openness to other points of view, and generally, this sextile especially is a progressive sextile. So we have an opportunity to move in a more progressive direction, which is interesting because we are amidst a time when it seems that there's this huge rise in fascism and authoritarianism. We see it all over the world. We see it in our own countries that are generally not put under the column of fascists. So this particular sextile actually is part of a synodic cycle that began back in 2010 and 2011 when these two planets came together. For the first one in 2010 was at 1 degree of Aries, and the next two were in the latter degrees of Pisces. These two planets deal with the expansion of our consciousness, So back then, if you can remember back then, for those of you who remember that long ago, the seeds of expanded consciousness were seeded, and now we come to a point where we can actually utilize them for the benefit of society. So despite the fact that I think things are looking pretty grim, especially if you concentrate on what you're seeing on the news, because they tend to bring forth the grim stuff, I think. There is a wave of progressivism. There is a wave of humanitarianism. There is a wave of a more broad understanding of the situations that people are in. And I think there's also a better understanding of the power structures. We've seen enough abuse of power on all levels to know that that is not what we want. And so we just need to continue to apply ourselves to those things that are important to us, make a difference in the way that you can, A best lived life is the greatest revenge. Keep that in mind. It's not about getting back. It's not about proving them wrong. It's about working together to improve and raise all boats. And that's what this sextile reminds us of. It reminds us of the power of our own co-creative power. It also reminds us of the need and necessity for letting go and for forgiving. Not to say, oh, it was okay that you did this to me, but I'm no longer going to let that thing rule my life. So lots of changes, lots of shifts this week. I think when I did the week, I said that at the beginning of the week, you're going to feel one way. At the end of the week, you're definitely going to have a whole different perspective. And so it is. So, let me know what your full moon was like. If you like, share, like, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Most of you are, I know. It seems like the only people that see me now, I used to get more people seeing me that maybe had never seen me before, but I don't know what that's about. Analogs or whatever those things are. I really have to brush up on that stuff to understand. But I would I'd like a broader reach, I think. So I'm going to put that little seed out there. And hopefully more people will get to have fun with us in the mornings. All right, guys, take care. Much love. Namaste.